The Congresswoman and other political leaders have questioned whether the owner of the limo company was given preferential treatment for many years because he worked as an informant for the FBI. During a stop in Plattsburgh recently, the Congresswoman talked about that briefing for members of the House Intelligence Committee. She said that it was a good step, but that more transparency is needed.
I have concerns how the FBI handled their confidential human source program, of which we know because of reporting Shahed Hussein was part of the confidential human source program. That briefing was a closed-door briefing. We're pushing the FBI to not only brief the families, but to make that public so that the media that has been so important in shining a light on this is able to continue to focus on how we need to strengthen the oversight over the confidential human source program. I'm not going to get into the details at this point because we're urging the FBI to release it completely. I think that's important for those families. But I will tell you, I've spoken with some of the families even last week, and they deserve those answers. And it's interesting, their feedback is they want to make sure this never happens again, that there's not a mishandled human source that ultimately leads to the horrific loss of life that we saw in this case. So transparency is key here, and instead of describing it, I want it public for everyone to be able to review.
And should anyone within the FBI be held accountable?
Absolutely, they should be held accountable, whether it was the special agents who handled that source in particular, but also legislatively. We have a role. I sit on the House Intelligence Committee. We have oversight over the FBI. There needs to be stronger guardrails for how these confidential human sources are handled within the FBI.
Stefanik says that informant who owned the limo company helped the FBI in terrorism cases, but that he and his sons had numerous run-ins with state and federal law enforcement agencies over the years. Jury selection is scheduled to begin Monday for his son, who is now facing 20 negligent homicide and manslaughter charges for the limo crash that killed 20 people, including 4 sisters from the King family who grew up on Chazy Lake. During her stop in Plattsburgh, the Congresswoman also talked about the rash of calls and threats that have forced dozens of schools into lockdown in recent weeks. She also weighed in on former President Trump's indictment, the dramatic increase in the number of migrants illegally crossing the border from Canada into the U.S., and if Congress should take additional steps to address gun violence and school shootings, like the one in Nashville in late March. You'll find our extended interview on our website and YouTube channel.